Hi, I'm Nestor and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I prepare a small batch old-fashioned pickled beets, and it only requires 5 basic ingredients: water, vinegar, sugar, salt, and pickling spice. And it doesn't take long to prepare, and these pickled beets will last easily 1 to 3 months in your refrigerator. If you're a single person like me, then you're gonna love this recipe, and you'll save a little bit of money instead of buying them at your local grocery store. And I just like the satisfaction I get out of making my own pickled beets, and I think you're going to enjoy it too. And there's more than what I need in here, but I'm going to just kind of wing it. In my recipe, I put in some red onions, so we're going to slice them up later and include that. And I use kosher salt. You can use sea salt, you can use table salt, whatever your preference. The other important thing, you'll notice I have yellow gloves on, and it's because I personally don't like to stain my hands, because I find it's a lot of work trying to get the stain out of your fingers. And yeah, so this recipe calls for 1 cup of vinegar, and I'm using just plain white vinegar. You can also use apple cider vinegar, and this is for each 2 beets that we're going to be preparing. And we're going to be using half a cup of sugar. Half a cup of sugar. But if you like them sweeter, you can add more. Some people like to use brown sugar, or you could even use this, coconut sugar. You want to save the bleeding process when it's actually in the pickling juice. So we'll just do that for now, and that looks pretty good. And we'll set aside the stems, and let's get washing. It doesn't require a lot of scrubbing. These already look pretty clean, and I don't see much sand coming off of them, so we should be okay. And that's it. They're cleaned perfectly. So I've filled up the pot with water, just enough to cover the beets, and to stop the bleeding process in the water. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar per 2 beets. So, a bit too much. And this is not an exact science, so just give this a little whirl, and that 3 tablespoons should be enough to stop the bleeding process, because we want to save all the good stuff inside those beets from when we cut them up and put it into the jars, and we don't want to waste it going into this water. So that's it. So now they're going to boil, set it to boil. And once it does reach the boiling point, then turn it down to like a simmer. And they're going to boil for 30 to 60 minutes. So these big ones, I think they're going to take a while. And so you don't want to boil them to the point that they're like mush. You want them kind of al dente. So when you put in a fork, they go in with a little bit of resistance, and then you know you're done. And so let's let them boil, and we'll come back to those in a bit. Alrighty, so the beets have been cooking in this hot water for 30 minutes, and I'm trying to put in this sharp knife into it, and I'm meeting quite a bit of resistance. So I'm gonna check one of the smaller ones, and them too. So I'm going to give them another 15 minutes or so, and we'll check back after that time. All right, so the beets have been boiling here for 20 additional minutes. So that's like 50 minutes total. And the little beet, it's definitely done. It goes in without very much resistance, and we don't want them to get any softer than that. So I'm going to remove these now, and instead of using the knife, I have this strainer. I think it's a spider strainer, and put it into a big bowl that's next to me. And let's test one more. You know what? I think we're going to be okay. That wasn't too bad. This one as well. So I am going to take them out. Shut off the burner. And now we'll push this off to the back. And you can see here, so they're in a big old bowl here, a stainless steel bowl. And what we have to do is put in tap cold water, and this will halt the cooking process. So that's, I don't know how many quarts that is, or liters, but I'm going to add a bit more to cover the beets. Let's see if that'll do it. Yeah, maybe a tad more. Tad more. And in this pot, I'm going to be preparing the brine mixture, and as well, I'm not going to throw out the beet juice that the beets were boiling in, because if I need just a little bit more to top up, that'll come in really handy. And it's quite red in color, so it's full of flavor as well. So I'm going to end it there, and let these beets cool off, and then we'll come back and prepare the brine. Alrighty, so the beets have cooled off and they're off to the side. So what I'm going to do is start preparing the brine. And because I'm making a recipe for approximately 6 beets that will fill possibly 3 to 4 of these jars, I'm going to follow this recipe. So for each 2 beets, you got to add 2 cups of water, or sorry, 1 cup of water, 1 cup of vinegar, and half a cup of sugar. So for this recipe, I'll need 3 cups of vinegar, and the vinegar I have right here. And there's 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 cups of water, and I don't have the water handy. Give me 1 second. One, two, and 3. Now, so in the bowl here, I have 1.5 cups of sugar to match this recipe, and we'll just mix this up. And it calls for 1 teaspoon of salt per jar full. So in here I have 3 teaspoons of kosher salt. And that's dissolving quite nicely. And I have 3 tablespoons of pickling spice. So we're going to toss that in, and now we're going to put this on a boil and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. And while that's happening, I'm going to change camera views, and I'm going to start slicing up the beets. So let's leave it like that, and we'll be right back. So by soaking the beets in cold water, the skins, they're coming off almost by themselves. And another good reason to wear these gloves, they have these little ridges on them, and it just helps with the gripping this thing, because right now it's slippery like a fish. So let me just get my knife. Oh, these are perfect. And I'm not going to do all of them, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just to give you a general idea how it's going to look. So I like how they turned out. They're not mushy, but they got still a bit of firmness to them. Okay, this one I'm gonna have to cut into it just a little bit. And I'll just put that guy in there, and let's take one of the smaller ones and just cut the end off. And man, they're so tender, beautiful. Let's see the skin isn't coming off that easy. I have a peeler here. I just want to see. Oh, that's even better. I won't waste so much in the meat of the beets, and it's like nothing to go through this. I really prefer this method. So put that in there. I'm going to start peeling the rest of them, and we'll be back in a minute. So before I slice into these beautiful beets, I just want to point out that some people, they like to use cheesecloth to wrap the pickling spice in, and they'll wrap it up into a ball and tie it up with butcher's string, but I just toss it right into the liquid. And so here's the onions, and I just cut them into pieces like this, and then I'm just gonna break all these up and start slicing the beets up and toss them in here. Actually, what I think I would do, I'm going to use my big bowl. Good thing I have this. I'm going to toss in half the onions now, and then start slicing these guys up. So, last time I made them for myself, I made it into wedges like this, and again, my daughter and her husband said they didn't like that. They would have preferred kind of like chunks. So, based on their suggestion, that's what I'm going to do. So, it sounds like a reasonable idea, and I just chop. Doesn't have to be exact. I'll show you one of them here. And when you buy them at the grocery store, usually they're in slices, and they're just little cube size, maybe a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch. And again, doesn't have to be exact. These are pickled beets, for heaven's sakes. So it's not going to affect them that much by not cutting them into slices. Whatever you prefer. So if you like spear shape, like this here, or whatever, or slice. So I'm going to stick with the cubes and see how they look like after they marinated. So they're going to have to sit in the fridge for at least 24 hours. 24 to 48 hours is best, and the longer they are in the fridge, the better they'll taste, just like anything. And almost went through my glove. And so let's do just one more. And then we'll go on to the next step. This, like that. And then I'm going to get the rest of the chopped up red onion. And red onion is optional. Like, being Ukrainian, all Ukraine, I think, or most Ukrainian people, we like our onions. And you could even put in garlic into this. And you know, like, whatever, you know, whatever floats your boat, go with it. So let's cut it right there, and I'll continue doing the others, and we'll come right back. And I just wanted to give the beet and onions another toss up, and now my jar is ready off to the side here, and we'll just start loading them up. One falling off to the side. I'll toss that. And in behind that, here's the brine sitting in a big measuring cup, and think that is high as I want to go with this one. So what you have to do is just pour it in, spices and all, and slowly, and covering the beets, not completely to the there, not to the top of the jar, but we'll do a couple more. I'm going to change the camera angle, and we'll continue from there. Okay, here's mason jar number 2. The way it's going, I might just only be able to fill 2 of them, maybe 2.5. Let's see. Hopefully you got a good view there. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's full enough. Let's put him to the side. Whoops. Someone flying. So let's, I think we'll at least get halfway. Let's see. So we're going to go from top. Yeah, so we are halfway full on that one. Let's bring the other one up front. So what I did, I took the brine and I actually mixed some of the beet water that the beets were boiling in, and that's why it's a bit darker. And just to make sure I can stretch it for the 3 jars. There, that looks good. And then, ooh, one more off to the side here. Let's do this one. This in front. So what ended up happening is a lot of the spices, they stayed at the bottom of the pot, so there isn't going to be that much in there. So I'm going to fill this guy. I'm going to get a spoon and move this over. So there's a bunch of them at the bottom. And as I said, there is no harm in having them all mixed up in there. And so I'm going to add a bit more to each jar. So on this one, I have a bit left at the top. So what I'd like to do is take some of the beet water and fill that right up to there. Okay, so all the jars are full, except this one is half full. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to boil up some eggs and toss them in, and I might have to remove some of the liquid, but the child in me just can't wait till tomorrow. And I want to try just a teaspoonful to see what it tastes like. And wow, fantastic. Better than before when I made it. The last time I had made them with the skin on, and yeah, it made it definitely tougher. Without the skin, this method is great with the this pickling spice, and they are not my sponsor. I paid for this, and but it's a great product, and when I like a product, I like to tell everybody about it. So having said that, I'm not gonna flog this horse to death here, and let's put these lids on. So they're gonna have to cool a bit more at room temperature. They're a tad warm. I wouldn't call it hot. And then they'll go in the fridge. I'll maybe give it an extra tightening before, and I'll put a little sticky note on each to say the the date of this pickling and maybe a best before date just in case. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have, give me a thumbs up, please. It helps tell YouTube that you enjoyed viewing this video, and it helps me out in the long run too. So having said that, you have a great day. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves. Bye now.